Adobe. Today we are going to talk about powering commerce for brands of all sizes and industries with new age technology. Business needs are changing with time. Technology can help businesses adapt if it's scalable, extensible, and modular. What businesses need today is capabilities that allow them to quickly incorporate new technologies to help connect with customers. Understand the customer's changing preferences each and every day. Embed and scale personalization to deliver smooth experiences. This webinar will focus on smart and adaptable technologies for retailers to succeed in their mission to take their businesses to the new front. We also discuss about how to adopt new technologies, scalable technology, abilities to host multiple instances, personalization, and reach out to the customers across network touchpoints. I am happy to announce and introduce our esteemed panelists and speakers today. We have with us Mr. Amit Sethia, Head for Marketing, Cisca Group. We have with us Mr. Ganesh Balkrishnan, co-founder and CBO Flathead Shoes. Mr. Siddharth Dungarwal, founder Snitch. Mr. Shakib Khan, Head E-commerce Bewkoof.com. Mr. Shishir Gupta, Director and founder kalkifashion.com. And we have Soumitra Dhankar, a Solutions Consulting Lead, Digital Experience Business, Adobe. Welcome, gentlemen, to this webinar. At the onset, I would like to thank you for coming to this show. And we can start with a short introduction about the brand and yourself. So I would like to start with Ganesh of Flatheads and subsequently move on. Ganesh, over to you.
Thanks, Hitesh. Thanks for inviting me to this webinar. Great to be here among very distinguished panel. We are probably one of the smallest brands here in this distinguished list. I am the co-founder of Flathead Shoes. We make casual sneakers for the urban working professional. Shoes that are great for 14+ hour comfort and go with your casual everyday dressing. We are a product innovation-led brand. We launched India's first bamboo fiber sneakers for the Indian tropical climate, and we continue to innovate with those kind of stuff suitable for the urban lifestyle use cases.
Thank you, Ganesh. Amit, over to you, please.
Thanks, Hitesh, for inviting an RAI, and include me in this amazing panel, talking about how can we empower this whole ecosystem of retailers, right? So my name is Amit. I represent Cisca, the brand which is known broadly for LED lights in the country, which is so amazing. But at the same time, being a thought leader brand in the category of fast-moving electrical goods, the brand has been diversifying from last 5 to 6 years. And as we speak today, it's not only offering you LED lights, but also at the same time, personal care, grooming appliances, mobile accessories, wires and cables, wearables, smart home products, etc. So I think the power of this brand is going to increase many folds in the times to come.
Thanks, Amit. Shishir, over to you, please.
Thanks, Mr. Hitesh. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really glad that you invited our company and myself to the panel. I am Shishir Gupta. I'm the founder of Kalki Fashion. So we started with offline stores and now we have got into online as well. So we are in the omni-channel player in this field. We are about a 10-year-old brand and we deal in premium ethnic wear, occasion wear, bridal wear. So it's been an amazing journey for us where we started offline and how we have now become an online player as well. So glad to be here. Thank you.
Thanks, Shishir. Over to you, Siddharth, please.
Hey, hi, Hitesh. Hi, everyone. So I'm Siddharth, founder at snip.co.in, which is a men's fast fashion brand. Again, born out of the pandemic, we are barely about 16 to 17 months old brand. So the idea behind the brand was basically why limit fashion to just 4 seasons. So we bring in fashion on a daily basis. I mean, since our inception, there's been no day that we haven't launched new collection or new fashion for men. And we are an online first brand, and currently selling this through our own website.
Thanks, Siddharth. Shakib, over to you, please.
Hey everyone, thank you, Tej, for inviting me on this panel. So I represent B2B. I have the e-commerce at B2B. B2B is a 10 years old brand. Started with B2C as a channel, and recently like we forayed into marketplace business, right? So B2B is all about self-expression. We are into all the categories starting from software, bottomware, accessories, and now we are launching multiple other categories like in the fusion wear, plus size, and many new upcoming categories. What we are getting into, a few of them are innerwear and activewear. So yeah, that's I think pretty much about this.
Yeah, thanks, Shakib. Soumitra, over to you, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, RAI, for inviting me. I am elated to be in the company of these exciting brands. I'm Soumitra Dhankar. I represent Adobe. And the recall of Adobe you have is the creative suite of products, Photoshop, or the document suite of products, which is Acrobat. But I represent a different business of Adobe called Digital Experience, with solutions to manage content, commerce, data, and customer journey. We are helping leading brands in India manage their digital business. And I'm happy to contribute those experiences in today's talk. Thank you.
Thanks, Soumitra. With this, I wanted to start with, challenges. Challenges are there in everybody's life, and so are the brands. Many of you are startups. Ganesh, since you are also, you said we are a very new, young company, and so is Snitch. So I would like to start with Ganesh and ask him about the challenges. What are the key challenges, Ganesh, in optimizing your buyer journey across different channels, because you are present, across the channels. But what would be your challenges in optimizing your buyer journey?
Sure. As a small brand, we are about 2 years old now, right? For us, making the most out of our inventory, utilizing it as much as possible is very critical, right? So one of the challenges there is, how do you make sure that you're present on multiple places, but you're not spreading your inventory too thin across the board, right? So centralized management of inventory and allocation to the right channels where there is traction and there is growth happening is one key area, right? Where we do face challenges on a daily basis. Of course, as a early stage brand, from a customer perspective, discoverability is a big challenge, right? So we tend to overinvest on both the brand effort as well as on performance marketing and stuff like that. So understanding where the money is going, understanding what gives you the maximum bang for the buck, and then prioritizing and doubling down on the things that are working while shutting down the things that are not, is a continuously evolving process. While the big guys like Facebook and Instagram and Google just change their algorithms on a regular basis to every time you think you found the key, they change the locks. So that's an ongoing battle as well for us. Similarly, when we list on other marketplaces, everyone has its own unique way of working and unique way of reaching the audience, right? So working with them and making sure that our brand is visible and getting the right customer that we are targeting is an ongoing journey for us, right? So those are typically top of mind challenges I can think of.
Thanks, Siddharth. You also are an 18-month-old brand, and since Ganesh also mentioned about discoverability, visibility, inventory utilization, etc. What would be your key challenges here, Siddharth?
Just, to add to all the points that Ganesh just said, I would say trust was the biggest thing. Being an online brand, it is very, very, very difficult for consumers to trust you, given the fact that there have been a lot of frauds that have happened through digital websites. It could be through ads on Facebook, it could be through Instagram. So one of the biggest challenges that we faced was gaining trust, and it is, I mean, it is an ongoing process which would just get better and better with time. But yeah, we adapted, and we were very apt on our customer support in terms of across all channels, and made sure that we were available whenever customer was waiting for a reply. So I think, yeah, to add to whatever Ganesh said, trust was one of the biggest challenges.
Yeah, that's the core. To get the consumers' trust is the key. With this, Shakib, what are your challenges in optimizing your buyer journey? You know, you are present across different channels you had mentioned last time, and what would be your key challenges here?
Yeah, as Siddharth and Ganesh mentioned that, right? Managing an inventory and having that trust. So basically, I think we have been into business for very long, so that we have solved this problem. But I think the ongoing problems for us is to be where customers are, right? So overall, the entire consumption is changing. Earlier, it was just a static image and a bit of a content through which customer used to make their. Am I audible?
Can you be a bit louder?
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think.
Better?
Yeah, this is better.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, I think one of the challenges what we have currently is to be where customers are. Earlier, I think the purchase decisions were made basis of the product, right? The price points and the content, right? Just basis of a static image, I think customer used to make that purchase decisions, right? But the way the Instagram has pretty much been in everyone's life, and the way content to commerce is changing, right? So that's where, which is one of the challenge what we have been trying to decode, which is the content to commerce, right? So this is something which is very key, because people are getting hooked up to what that person is reviewing, and they want to know the nitty-gritties, and that's how the entire ecosystem is evolving from in e-commerce to social commerce, right? So adapting to that change for a mid-scale retailer, right? A mid-scale D2C brand is going to be a key, because that's where the consumer are moving, and most of the brands are moving towards that segment as well, right? So be it Myntra coming up with a Myntra Studio and multiple other social commerce gaining traction. I think for a mid-scale brand like us, which is dependent on the platform, I think that's one of the challenges which we are currently, I think, working on.
So Shishir, the next question is for you. You predominantly, Kalki has been offline store, and now you have also ventured into online and as a D2C brand. So how will you, optimize your buyer journeys, and where does your challenge come here in optimizing that buyer journey?
Yeah, so having like a proper CRM system which is able to track and put all the information together is the key. So what we have done is we are able to understand each user, whether it's coming online or offline, and able to connect the dots together and have one unified view of the customer, which has really helped us give proper communication to the customer and also personalize what the customer is looking for. Because the customer is the same. The customer does not understand what is online and what is offline. They want the product, right? So for them, it really doesn't matter if it's online or offline. And now the gap is really diminished. There's no gap between online and offline. So the customer is also experiencing the same, and he wants a similar experience when they go online or offline. So having the unified view is the way forward, and being able to understand the customer needs, customer preferences, and showing the right product is the key.
Okay. Before I come to Soumitra to have his views, I would ask Amit about his challenges too. And since you mentioned that Cisco is synonymous with LED bulbs, what are the and this is a completely different space altogether. So where are your challenges in this customer journey?
So basically, see, I think in this country, the customers are extremely value conscious, I would say. And I think the moment you ask a bit of incremental monies, they are a little jittery, right? I think, and that was one of the most, crucial challenge we faced initially, I would say, because LED products are comparatively, costlier than CFL products and filament products. And I think that's where the brand realized that while it is a challenge, it is also an opportunity to create that connect with the consumers, because we are the first retail facing brand in the category of LED lights, basically, right? So I think that's where we kept on harping on the benefits of savings in long term. I think that is what actually helped the brand to establish itself very strongly in the consumer mind with the help of our marketing programs. And at the same time, I was listening to all the other co-panelists. I think the new brands which are coming up right now are very much high on tech, I would say. But if you look at this space, which is consumer appliances and durables, etc., these are fundamentally offline. You have like the brand, the super stockist, the distributor, the retailer, and that's where at the very other end you have the customer waiting for the product. So the challenge here is another one, which is how do you create the digital footprint of the customers across your all channels of sales, right? Because e-commerce guys will not share their data with you, obviously, for the reason that we all know. D2C is obviously growing like every year, I guess, by 10 to 15%, which is also amazing. Some of the products are also IoTized. So I know who's using the product, what kind of features are being utilized more than the other features, etc. Beyond this, how do you add more to the digital footprint is the challenge that we are working on currently.
Thanks, Amit, for that. Soumitra, you heard our panelist, and in your view, where do you see, because you interact with so many, brands and clients, what are the challenges, these brands are facing today?
Hitesh, thanks for the question. I think I agree with what everyone has said. In my observation of working with multiple customers, I think the fundamental problem is to establish an emotional connect with the customer in the digital world, right? Especially when it comes to buying journey, because as they say, buying is an emotional decision. Right? It's not always the most rational decision, or it's not always the most suitable product that gets bought, but the ones which has the most amount of emotional appeal. So how do you connect with the customer in a way that you are able to emotionally appeal to him and you are able to traverse him through the buyer journey in a non-assisted channel like digital? I think that's the biggest problem of optimizing customer journey. There are different symptoms to this problem, right? I think Sid mentioned about trust, right? Trust is one element of it. I think Shakib mentioned about content to commerce, right? So throwing content at customer is not enough, right? That has to be immersive. So experience is probably the answer that everyone is looking at. I think Amit mentioned about a very important aspect of this being a dealer distribution-led business, and their experience matters also, right? So probably as much as the end customer buying journey is important, it's the B2B customers buying journey, should you look for B2B commerce, is equally important. So those are my thoughts. I think establishing an emotional connect being important, and experience probably being the answer that we want to give to our customers, which helps us differentiate on D2C channel, maybe on an aggregator channel, so on and so forth.
Thanks, Soumitra. So, now that we have got all the challenges in front of us, and Soumitra did mention a couple of them, including trust and content to commerce, scaling, discoverability, visibility, right TG, CRM, one unified view, value conscious customer, so on and so forth. So we heard this from all our panelists. These are the challenges which each and every today is facing in any of these challenges, some more, some less, some have managed to get across a couple of them successfully, not so successfully for others as well. With this, I would like to ask Shishir to start with. You are again, as you had mentioned that you had a physical store and then now you are online as well, and we are moving towards omni-channel. So consumers are omni-channel today, and so should be the brand. And with that fundamentals, many of you are on the either side and planning to, again cross over and go to the other side as well. But as the consumers engage with your brand in numerous ways, whether it is online or in store or social media or through the mobile devices as platforms, what strategies you deploy to engage a customer across multi-channels? For Shishir, the answer may be different, and for Shakib, the answer may be different, and so with Amit, because all of them are in different categories and different businesses. So I would like to know, to start with Shishir.
So what we have done is during the COVID itself, we invested a lot in video shopping. And that's really helped us, bridge the gap between online and offline. Where a customer wants to be online, likes the experience, the convenience of being online, and at the same time, we give them the experience of offline by doing the video shopping. And the video shopping, the technology is so good right now that you actually feel that you are in store. So that's really helped us bridge the gap for omnichannel.
Okay, so video shopping is one of the key points, and I think this is coming up today. If you look at countries like China, there again the range is going up. The value is going up, and I'll come on that video shopping part later to touch upon it. I would like to go to Shakib and get his point of view on what strategies are being deployed to engage customers across multi-channels.
Right. So, B2B being an online first brand, right? So we have to cater to the changing demand of customers, right? So we recently launched B Shorts, which is where most of our consumers. So being a self-expressive brand, right? So when a customers buy a product, they want to they go onto Instagram and they tag us, right? So giving them the visibility and a platform to be an influencer and earn as an affiliate as well, right? So that's something which is a kind of a potential touch point where we are able to create a new set of business in a form of an affiliate, and also increase the word of mouth in a digital sense, right? Of course, we are now coming up with lot of video reviews, right? So reaching out to customers and influencers and creating a video review about a particular launch or a product, right? And on a very genuine term, what do they feel about the product? So lookbooks are something which is consumed a lot, right? And after that, the tutorials is something which is consumed a lot when it comes to video reviews and social commerce, right? So trying to create that content base which is very friendly to customers and something which helps them in their entire buying journey. That is something what we are working on. Being an online only brand, I think these are a couple of areas we are working on social media.
Okay, thanks, Shakib. Siddharth, what are your strategies in coping this?
Obviously, so customer is the king. Everyone knows and is aware of that. So for me, I think personalization is something that is very important, especially to be present across so many platforms. And for example, we were just an online brand and had just our own website. And then we, launched our app about 3 months back. We have almost 2 lakh plus downloads currently. So it is just, ways of finding, the pathway, how you can get closer to your consumer. We are also coming up with digital experience stores, again, into offline, but it would be a tech-driven store wherein majority of the traffic would still be driven online, but it is just to get the touch and feel of the brand. So it is like Shakib said, just being present where consumers are. And I think the sync between your offline and online is the most critical thing. For example, a lot of brands, I just entered a store a couple of days back wherein I saw that, one particular t-shirt had an M size available online, but it was not present in the store. So they lost me there. The synchronization of all your inventories in terms of discounts, again, a lot of brands showcase some discount in their offline business, but not available online, or vice versa. It could be a discount module that is there just online and not in the offline store. So yeah, I think the synchronization of the whole journey of a customer is very important.
So thanks, Siddharth. Ganesh, with you, what are your strategies you deploy, to engage the customers across multi-channels?
In our case, as Siddharth mentioned, we are an online-only brand. Shakib touched upon this as well. I think video selling has been something that has been just piloted on our side, and it worked pretty well. We also hold experience kiosks, as small initiatives in urban workspaces, because that's our core audience, right? So, and that worked pretty well as well. There are some very interesting experience stores kind of formats that are coming up. Some of that you can see in even Lenskart, where you can go to the store, you can try on the specs, but then very quickly you can order on their pad, and then they will deliver it to your home. By the time you get home, sometimes if you have your prescription they have in stock, they will actually send it within the same day or the next day itself, right? So there are very interesting experiences that are coming up in that space, which are very fascinating, which we have our eye on. When the time is right, yeah, definitely something that we will explore.
Okay, Amit, over to you on your strategies, please.
So I think I agree with what everybody mentioned about engaging the customers. The only difference here is that, as I mentioned earlier, whether it's an offline customer or an online customer, whether the customer came to me from the LED portfolio or other segments that I am present is, the crux here is how am I managing the customer lifetime value across his or her own journey. Because acquiring customers is definitely a challenge. It's a huge cost. And first party data, I think everybody is aware about as to what is happening in the space of first party data now. And every brand is now gearing up to take this challenge head on. So I think that's where I think even we are kind of very conscious now. But if it is about experience, then yes, we started, a couple of things I can cite here. Example, our Siska lounges, in fact, because we were the first ones to bring this concept in the country, wherein you actually get yourself educated. Because today, people are not really aware about, broadly, what is the magic that a LED bulb can do for you. And I think for that, if you're really keen, you can go to a lounge and get into the immersive. I think that's the word I heard from somebody, immersive experience. So I think that's where we create the magic for the prospect, I would say, to go back home and have a broader perspective of the category. That's one. We also use a lot of online vehicles and interfaces to empower the customer, I would say, or the prospect rather. So example, today, if you really want to understand how much of saving you can bring to your home by changing, say, example, your conventional lighting to LED lighting. So there has this entire algorithm which is present online from the brand, wherein you can just key in the things like how many bulbs, what all wattages, room size, etc. And it will actually come back to you with a suggestion as to how you can save money by using what kind of products. I think these are some of those examples wherein we engage with the customers. We ensure that the customer lifetime value is also optimized across the entire value chain of the brand, whether it is for XYZ segments or ABC categories.
Thanks, Amit. So Soumitra, since you have heard our panelist, in your views, what are these strategies that are being deployed, currently by the brands in the market?
No, absolutely. I think two strategies that I see very prominently being deployed. I think one Sid mentioned is personalization, right? Very strongly, how am I personalizing my experience based on the customer's context, right? For example, if I go to a retailer's website and I search for cap, and I'm based in Delhi, right? And if you're showing me all golf caps, you have lost me there, right? Because I'm in Delhi, it's 5 degrees, I am looking for a winter cap, okay? So this is a simple example of location-based personalization, right? I think personalization is a journey that never stops, right? So once you have done with basic level of personalization on location, and how do you do next step personalization? Collecting my data from what I did previously. If I'm looking for blazers which are 10,000 rupees and above, in my next visit, are you able to personalize my page to show an offer on a 15,000 rupees blazer available for 12,000 or something like that, right? Now you know that I'm not looking for anything less than 10,000, so are you able to personalize me in my next visit? I think so. Not just personalization based on location, but based on context, based on repeat visit, based on time spent on the website. And this depends on how minutely you are able to collect the customer data across the journey. Right? And once I have this granular data in the digital world, I think Ganesh mentioned about how do I bridge this experience in the physical world. So there are, I would say, trials of personalizing this in the physical world in form of experience kiosk or virtual trials or AR VR assisted sort of immersive experience, right? So I think everything is at a trial stage, but very exciting to see a lot of experimentation happening. The second thing that I see happening in a big way across online and offline journey is localization. English is 10% market capture. I think if we go to vernacular languages, we'll capture 90% of Bharat, right? India is 10% English. Everyone has mastered English. But can I give a very local language experience or vernacular experience? I think that immensely improves the context or the relevance of the brand for the customers, is what I have seen. So I think there are great efforts happening in that area. To start with Hindi, and then probably depending upon where the brand is, what is the penetration, slowly rolling out it to other languages.
I think that's a fantastic point, Soumitra, of localization and the Bharat point, the point of Bharat, because of late, in last 1.5 years, we have seen in so many, conferences, conclaves, debates, and even editorials where people are talking about India and Bharat. Okay, and how do we capture the Bharat? And here, 80 to 90% of the localization part, that the language that you are talking about, that's an awesome point, and the brands will have to connect with them. Those who have understood this are ahead of the curve, and those who will understand, and it's an imperative, I feel, that if not today, tomorrow they will have to get into the localization strategy very soon. With this, I want to go to the next experience in connection to the discussion that we are having, and that is about experience. Now, and even Soumitra mentioned, and Siddharth, Ganesh, Amit, all of them mentioned about it. Experience is the new age currency. Now, data is oil, and oil is data, and the new currency and new oil, new data is oil, and things were like that. But experience today across the categories, across the channel, is the new age currency, and experience-driven commerce is the way to monetize this currency. Now, what are your thoughts on leveraging this currency for your D2C channel as well as for your physical brand? With this, I want to ask Siddharth to start with. Siddharth spoke about digital experience stores. Okay, that is for offline. Ganesh spoke about experience kiosks. Amit spoke about Siska Lounge. Now, these are all physical in nature, and we'll touch upon that as well. And how do you plan to take and leverage this experience currency to your D2C channel? So I will start with Siddharth and then go to Shakib for a D2C perspective, and then we'll carry it forward. So Siddharth, over to you.
Yeah, like Soumitra said, personalization is the key. If you can crack that personalization code, then you won the customer there itself. For example, if I'm looking for a black shirt on maybe a Myntra or an Amazon, and I happen to come to your website, are you able to show me that black shirt, what I was looking for? So personalization is the key. Personalization, again, needs to happen on every level: age, climate, geography. Fashion and trends change every 100 kilometers in India. So you have to be very sure about how do you personalize that whole consumer journey. Second would be towards loyalty. everyone wants those freebies. Everyone wants that incentivization to happen. How can you engage your consumers to come back to you? It is only through these loyalty programs that you create. It could be a referral program. It could be something that is towards rewards, any cashbacks that you can offer. So I think, yeah, these are 2 or 3 very critical things that we are currently focusing on.
Okay, thanks, Sid. Shakib, over to you. And what strategies or what are your thoughts in leveraging this experience as a new age currency in your D2C channel?
Look, first I'll talk about the retail because, with a brief experience working with a couple of large-scale brands, right, and deploying the omni-channel tech, what we have seen is a few of the challenges which most of the companies face is to optimize the inventory, right, which is again online as well as offline. So first is most of the large-scale brand with a turnover of more than 300 crores, right, and a very known name, right, they are not able to pretty much expose all of their inventory, all of their freshness, right? So because the costs, what they have are pretty much disabled, and there is no unified view of inventory exposed to all these channels, right? A. B. There is one particular product which is available in the store, and there is a requirement in a very different store, right? So saying no to that customer who is your loyal customer is going to be a death for any growing brand, right? So having an omni-channel experience over there where you can get the order and get it dispatched and delivered to the customer is going to be a key which most of the large scale brand have pretty much very early on they have identified this and they have banked on this, right? Having said that, for D2C, of course, omni-channel experience is the key, and this is something which is shifting at a very rapid pace, right? So earlier it was all about offline touch and feel, such elements. But now what people are looking at is reviews. What people are looking at is how best I can see that this product looks on me, right? Now, because there is a limitation when it comes to augmented reality, which Ganesh mentioned, right? So people look to such people who look alike, right? Which is like a micro influencers and likes of it, that how these products look on them, and then they make their purchase decisions, right? So, so these are the new behaviors of customers, which are the changing India, I would say.
Sure. So you are talking about reviews and augmented reality, etc., to enhance the the customer experience. So, Shishir, in your viewpoint, what are your strategies because you have a D2C brand as well, and how are you, leveraging this currency of experience there?
So I would say the experience is of 2 types. One is like your before order and after order. So we are focusing on the after order a lot now. Because we believe that the repeat purchase is based on your operations and your on-time delivery and customer satisfaction. So we are really focusing on the customer service and the repeat purchase, because as we grow, acquisition is going to become more and more expensive. So it's important that we focus on giving superior customer experience post-order, and getting reviews from the customer testimonials. And as someone suggested, that UGC is also very big, right? Customer content, customers' photos. Now we have the technology where we can get pictures from customers, and we showcase that on the website. So that helps us drive more sales.
I think that's a very good point. Customer testimonials, and Shakib mentioned about reviews. You're talking about testimonials. And so this is a very interesting point you spoke about, after order experience. So one is before, another is during, and third one would be after. Mm-hmm. Now here I see that it's a strategy to retain the customer, because somebody mentioned here that it's very difficult to acquire a new customer. I think Amit or somebody had mentioned in the start. And this strategy of if once the customer is acquired, and how do you look after it? the pictures from customer, the overall customer service. So you want to win the customer with service, and everybody here is in the service business.
Right.
Directly, indirectly, you can take it there. So this as a strategy for a D2C brand is again a good one. I would move to Ganesh and take his views and ask him about what strategies he's deploying for his D2C brand.
Sure. I think Amazon has already set the standard for customer experience for e-commerce, right? In terms of Prime and next day deliveries, and now getting into minutes and hour deliveries as well. Right. So I think for us, the challenge is to move to something called customer delight, which is way beyond the experience part, which has become hygiene now. What we've been looking at is, specifically in the e-commerce funnel itself, once the customer comes onto our website, how do you make their decision easier, right? How do you get them to pick the product they want in the least number of clicks or the least number of journeys on the website? And then once the product is picked, how do you make their checkout supremely easy, right? So there are multiple one-click solutions available, one-click checkout solutions available. And if people want choice of payment, then they should have choice of payments as well. So there are a lot of experiences that you can design in the website itself and understand the flow of the customer and optimize that, which is what we do with our analytics on the website. Showcasing the right products that sell better right up top, making sure that the sizing is available, right? Whenever they search or sort by size, you make sure you show only the products that are in stock, right? The basic hygiene stuff that you can do to improve the customer experience and get them to check out faster is something that is critical. Shishir talked about post-order experience as a big pillar for brand success. We are actually piloting same-day deliveries in metro cities as well, right? With our logistics partners. So the delight factor there is, you don't expect. While you might expect groceries to arrive within hours or now minutes, you don't expect shoes to arrive on the same day, right? So there is a lot of when you deliver something that is significantly beyond what the customer expectation is, that creates delight, and then they come back and they talk about it, right? So that is very critical. That advocacy starts happening. So a lot of these things are work in progress and continuously improving customer experiences, both on the pre-order as well as post-order.
Yeah, thanks, Ganesh. I think that was a very good point, from customer experience to customer delight. So making your choices easier, making your decision easier, making your checkout easier, and so all this making things easier will make our business also easier, and life too. So that's the way things are. It's the right planning and the right technology that goes into making all these things. Amit, your strategies on this, please.
So I will just add up to what everybody spoke about, because fundamentally these all elements are increasing the experience part for the customers. My point is, typically when you go online, the nature of the conversation is broadly transactional, because that somebody will give me options, discounts, etc. And I think that's where affordability brings a lot of relevance, I think, for everybody. The way it has changed the entire dynamics of lot many other categories, right? From hospitality, aviation, including even fashion now today. I think affordability is playing its wonder card beautifully. So I think there, what we are trying to figure out is how can we add more value by, some of those support mechanisms like EMIs and BNPL. I think because they actually add a lot more delight to the customer. And I also agree with Ganesh, even we are piloting the possibility of delivering the product the same day, because even if you're buying something with me as a brand online, I'm trying to bring in this ecosystem of phygital in the community, where the nearmost retailer will get the trigger and he will be in the position to deliver the product to you. So not only groceries will come to you faster, but even a bulb will come to you in no time.
In fact, just to add on that, 10 minutes delivery, 20 minutes delivery. Just now I had, today I saw a post on LinkedIn where it's written that, we get deliveries in 10 minutes, but the ambulance takes 30 minutes, So the to eat up, get a product or a grocery product is in 10-20 minutes, but ambulance will take 30 to 45 minutes on an average. And how can that be possible? But that's possible because that's what's happening. And one guy came up with this thought, and that's how the whole experience part that we are talking about is going to change. That even in a service or a category like this, people are trying to get that experience replicated what we get in groceries. With this, Soumitra, we have seen that experience is the new age currency. And how in your thoughts are brands leveraging this, Soumitra?
I think everyone has shared great examples of how they are leveraging or how do they plan to leverage. But I think essentially it is about leveraging experience to remove the key decision points or simplify the key decision points or key roadblocks from the customer journey, right? For example, if I make the experience immersive, if I make it contextual, then I am simplifying a lot of decisions points for my customers, right? We spoke about video-based buying. Right? Do I have to see the entire video and then click on a product to add to cart? Or while watching the video, can I add 2 or 3 or 4 products to the cart? Right? That's what I'm talking about, being immersive. Discoverability of the product on the site, right? Do I have to always type, or can I support voice-based discovery? I think that one thing that is going to greatly uplift mobile convergence is voice-based discovery. Right? A lot of phones, if you are able to search through voice, and to an added complexity could be vernacular search, right? Vernacular and voice-based discovery, even more difficult. But what I wanted to share was experience as a currency is not something that you are done with in day one. Right? There are multiple stages to it. We spoke, it starts with personalization, it starts with video, it can go to vernacular, it can go to voice-based search, it can go to social commerce, it can go to conversational commerce, right? To each brand, to their own and what works for them. Not that everything is going to work for everybody, but one thing is for sure, is what I'm hearing from customers, that if D2C channel has to be successful, right, then experience has to be the differentiator, because otherwise e-commerce is already happening through big e-tailers or aggregators, right? All of the brands are already selling through Amazon and Flipkart. So what is my incentive as a customer to come to your website and buy? Right? I can always buy from there. There are sales there is pricing, there is product comparison. So for me to be incentivized to come to your brand website and transact, I think experience is the currency, or experience is the differentiator. Now, depending upon the brand, depending upon the context, there are multiple tactics, right, which we spoke about, that can be developed.
Soumitra, I would like to stay with you and ask you about
Sure.
another aspect of business and commerce. So commerce is as much B2C as it is about B2B. So what are your thoughts on the expanse of B2B commerce, in the businesses that you deal with, and how unique the challenges are and how different it is to manage from a B2C commerce perspective?
Absolutely great question, Dr. Hitesh. I think one phenomenon that has happened in last 5 years that I have personally observed is the concept of consumerization of business experiences, right? And I was talking to head of e-commerce of a large business, which is typically a dealer distributor led business, right? Like Amit mentioned. And he said that today my dealers and distributors are using Uber. They are ordering food through apps. They are using Amazon. And when they come to my dealer management systems, okay, they think that this is something of 1980s, right? So I need to revamp, or I need to give them a better experience, right? That's one aspect. So this whole consumerization of experiences is kind of forcing the brands to think as to how do I recreate my B2B experience. Right? Now, in our minds, B2B and B2C are two different domains and two different IT systems. Right? Sometimes we feel that these are two different IT systems. Those boundaries are blurring. I think there are today systems available that help you manage both the experiences through single platform. The third aspect about B2B, and probably something of relevant to brands which sell through dealer distributors and also directly, is this whole concept of hybrid commerce or B2B2C, right? I sell to my dealer distributor. They also have a website to sell. Right? So how do I facilitate that for them? So I do commerce with them, and they can also do commerce with end customers, right? They can run very hyper local campaigns. I have a very local festival. I want to run an offer for that local festival. I want to have a vernacular page. Doesn't matter to the rest of India, but my uptake is very, very high on that day. Right? Can you facilitate that for me? So my takeaway of B2B is it is getting consumerized like B2C, or brands are thinking about doing it. Right? Everyone is at a different stages of journey. From a system management perspective, it is no different from B2C. I think there could be one system to manage both. And it can lead to interesting hybrid models like B2B2C.
Amit, would you like to add based on your experience, because you also have dealer distributors and to manage, where you can directly relate with the point that Soumitra was talking about, consumerization of experiences and systems and hybrid commerce, B2B2C, hyper-local campaigns, etc. And how can you relate this with your business?
So I completely agree with what Soumitra mentioned, because at the end of the day, it's not only the end customer who's craving for experience, but everybody who's a part of your ecosystem, including your distributors, dealers, and everybody. But here, that one thing that I want to add is everybody is impatient today. I mean, like, everybody wants everything to happen the very moment. Nobody has time today. And I think that's what makes or breaks the deal. In our business, it is very crucial to know what is the status of your dispatch, your inventory, the entire supply chain, what kind of lead time is required for the product to arrive, so that the person on the other side can plan his or her business, right? Whether it is B2B through the distribution channel or my direct B2B clients. I think that's where, tech tools are playing a very, imperative role to ensure that what all information they need is at least available to them, because this is what actually creates, that dark hole in the entire communication, that you can be a great brand, but if you're not giving me the information right now, then I will not consider you. So I think that's where the tech part of the product, the entire supply chain is also important for these channel partners to be aware about and plan their business and consumption.
Okay, thanks, Amit. Now we'll move to a very important question, and this is something which every brand and every businessman discusses. You see, smart technology enables you to grow alongside your business, as it is easily scalable, and it allows you to deploy more sophisticated features like gift registers, PO support for B2B distributors, website personalization, integrated marketing campaigns, and whatever your needs may be. The investments you make in smart tech today will carry your business far into the future. So how, we want to know your comments on the investments that you are going to make, or you have already made of late or recently, or you are going to make, because ultimately these investments in smart tech today is going to take your business to the next level tomorrow. Ganesh, we can start with you. Siddharth, we can follow up subsequently.
There are very fascinating technologies that are upcoming now. I'll talk specifically about footwear and our space, right? For example, understanding the foot size of the customer, right? There are very simple. You can just take a picture with your phone camera, and that can actually give you a 3D render of your foot, right? There's a company called Find Me a Shoe, which is doing this in India, and beautifully done. Right, so it's a very simple use case for a customer to understand their size. That can actually improve their experience on our website. But the way it is done and the technology that goes behind it and the amount of data and AI that goes behind it is phenomenal, right? So things like that we are piloting. Immersive shopping is something that we have talked about. That is something that we tried during the pandemic as a pilot. We will take that up on a on a war footing once there is a lot more easier way of doing it on our website and stuff like that. So that is the second piece that we are considering. Something very fascinating is happening in the lifestyle space with art, with NFTs, right? So we are actually working with a couple of folks to collaborate and come out with unique limited edition sneakers which have NFT signatures along with it, right? Which then becomes a really a unique collectible possession that you have with the proof of ownership as well. So there are very, very, very fascinating things that are happening in that space, which which will become mainstream very soon, is what we feel.
Nice. Those are very good points, and unique and innovative as well. Siddharth, your views on investment in technologies?
I mean, absolutely. I think that's the most important thing to do if you want to scale your business and get into profitability. So for especially a D2C brand, profitability is the key. At least you should start hitting profitability as soon as possible. And technology is that lever that will enable you to do that faster. Good technology will give you good customer experience. Good customer experience will give you good repeat rate, organic growth, word of mouth, etc. On the other hand, good technology would also get you automations, and good automations would automatically, make your business very efficient to scale. So I think it is the key. In our case, we have used technology, wherever it was possible, whether it is pre-order journey or post-order journey. For example, as soon as you place an order, there's a WhatsApp bot that starts communicating with you that, hey, thank you for placing an order, kindly confirm your order. So the customer confirms, he gets the shipping notifications, the delivery notifications in case he's not available, when does he want the delivery next. It is all integrated through our logistics partner. Also, once a product is delivered, asking them for the NPS score or feedback. This is towards the pre-order journey. Post-order journey, the most critical thing for any D2C brand, especially, is the returns and exchange, which is the biggest challenge. So a consumer who's coming on your website wants an experience of an Amazon or a Flipkart because they've set those standards. So we've done automations in regards to returns and exchange, especially. Once an order is picked up from a customer's location, within 24 minutes or 30 minutes, the refund is initiated automatically. And in terms of exchange, like if you have just placed an exchange request, immediately a new order is generated for your exchange, and then that whole pickup process is happening. So we are saving almost about 4 to 5 days there in terms of customer experience. In terms of personalization, again, there are a lot of trials happening, and I believe Netcore is someone who's been doing this aggressively in terms of the UI of your website, in terms of personalizing the whole experience. Yeah, so I think even in terms of warehousing, I mean, we started with 2 racks at the corner of our office, and today we've deployed almost about a good chunk of budget on our warehousing because we know what that could do to scale, the business. And today we have a warehouse which is almost about 35,000 square foot, which is totally tech driven. Could ship maybe 1,000 orders per 30 minutes. So, I mean, yeah, it is all about technology and what suits you the best.
Thanks, Siddharth. Shakib, investments in technology to take your business to the next level.
Definitely. I think we spoke extensively about the customer experience, but I think 2 of the main core part of any business is the operations, right? How you deliver to the customer, how you are being the nearest to the customer, and of course your backend supply chain, right? So the technology, I think from that perspective, analytics led called to make a regional utilization, right? So because you work with different marketplaces have their different product, which is a kind of a bestseller, right? And there are different customers which you are catering to. If you are limited to D2C, it's very straightforward and simple, right? You know that this product is selling, and I need to distribute this inventory across X regions, right? which is north, west, east, south, right? But when you work with marketplaces, there are always different best sellers. So making sure that that piece is very much automated is something which is going to be the key, because that is going to define for us, in a longer run. Secondly, I think localization, as it was rightly mentioned, we are working on localizations, right? So being very regional, and in terms of, not only in terms of a PDP, a product page, but also in terms of our communication, in terms of how we share that messages of order, delivery, and everything, right? So personalized experience with localization is something which is going to be a tech-led investment for us. Apart from that, I think one of the main pain points for any e-commerce business, right, which is a make or break for most, is reducing returns and reducing a dependency on COD, right? So these two are something which holds a key to every profitability today, right? So demand is there, customers are purchasing, but on these 2 pointers of how you can reduce returns and RTO, first, before the purchase is made and after the purchase is made, right? So investments in that particular would help you increase your profitability by 10%, right? Easily by 10%, right? So companies at scale, I think, need to think through this, and this is something which is which we are working on, reducing CODs, right? So we have a tribe users, we have a loyalty points, and that is something which is the major contributor for us. So that stickiness is there, and which helps us reduce the COD, right? So yeah, I think that is one which has been a very successful for us in longer run. I think one of the most important thing of using a technology is like Slack, right? Which is just a push message technology, right? But deploying that across touch points is very critical, right? Is very critical. For example, when you when you stock out, right? It's only because you have not pre-planned a particular inventory as per the days on hand, right? A very simple use case of not having that knowledge beforehand, and not releasing that PO automated, right? Because of so much manual interventions, because of so much human dependencies, I think the business are not scalable, right? It hampers the scalability of the business, right? So just by automating a touch points, right? A normal touch points, like this product is selling on this particular marketplace or a B2C, which has a procurement time of, let's say, X, right? Getting it in stock. So let's say the vendor has, let's say, the procurement time of 30 days, right? So keeping a buffer and entirely managing your supply chain very effectively, that is something which is missing, and most of the brands are now realizing that that this needs to be automated rather than the manual effort. So deploying this entire deploying the money when it comes to this side of automation is also key, because this defines just by automating this smaller touch points helps you increase your business by 30%. So yeah, I think these are some key areas where we are also thinking through and understanding.
Thanks, Shakib. That was very insightful. Shishir, your views on investments in technologies.
So we are investing a lot in WhatsApp bots, how they can personalize the whole shopping experience, where they can show recommendations to customers when they want to see it, right? So they are not dependent on any salesperson to guide them through the shopping whenever they want to shop. Secondly, we are also looking at virtual try rooms and measurements also via taking pictures. We have also tried that. We did the pilot for that, where a customer can take pictures of themselves and we can get the complete measurements of the customer. Because for us, the fitting is very important. When we are selling bridal wear or occasion wear, the fitting is very important. So when through these kinds of technologies, we think the customer experience can be improved. Also, I think the blockchain, which is coming up in few years, the people will be able to, or the customers will be able to understand where they have shopped from, what the fabric is. Is it a real silk fabric, or where it was manufactured? All these technologies will help gain trust and increase the customer satisfaction.
So Shishir, let me ask you one question. In your view or experience through a video, and this is a very important question, it also shows where we are today. At what kind of value, how much value item can I sell through a video,
Yeah, so we are selling lehengas on our website. So during lockdown, so we get a lot of international customers, and during lockdown, there were a lot of these NRIs who didn't come to India, right, because of COVID. So we started selling, we always used to sell on video, but we never sold lehengas on the website, right, through video shopping. But during pandemic, we started selling lehengas, which were about 2.5 lakhs, 3 lakh rupees also. So, and then it's been a trend now. The customers are very comfortable shopping that high value also online through video shopping.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal insight and a number also, because if you look at when we had started, when the lockdown had started, and I do remember at that time in one of the webinars we had discussed that the video shopping, it's on the higher side, it may be up to 10,000-20,000 rupees, otherwise the Indian consumer or even so. Before I go ahead, was this shopping or this kind of value is bought by NRIs or by Indians as well?
Even locally.
So this shows that from 20,000 we have moved to 2 lakhs in 2 years. So from a WhatsApp or a video shopping which started at on an average 20,000 ticket size, now we are moving to a 2 lakh, 2.5, 3 lakh ticket size. So that shows the confidence that the market, the country, or the consumer is putting in this technology, and this shows how digitization and investment in technologies can take your business to the next level. From 20,000 rupees to 2 lakh rupees, that's the ticket size of sales. Amit, from over to you, and your views and how you are coping up with investment in technology to help your business.
So I think investments in technology space is just basis the fact that as a brand, do you want to react or respond? I think that's very crucial. So if our TVs can become smart, or if our mobile phones can become smart, why not our poor bulb? Even it has to also become smart. Now, this smart bulb that I'm talking about can technically give you 16 million colors. Yes, and that's the technology wonder or the magic that you can talk about, if not experience, because on human level, 16 millions you can't imagine, but technically it is possible. My point is, today you can operate these smart bulbs with the help of app or with the help of your voice assistants. Actually, whether you are in the same room or at a distance, doesn't matter. You can actually create that immersive experience. A lot more of emphasis was given on immersive experience. So I think this product is just the apt reference that I can quote in this conversation, that yes, it creates different kinds of moods for you basis what exactly you want to experience, right? Not only in terms of bulb, but also you have smart plugs, which actually help you to convert your existing white goods into semi-smart, appliances, which again can be controlled with the help of app. So I think these kind of investments in technology actually, keep your brands light years ahead, truly.
Thanks, Amit. So, Amitra, you heard all of them, and investments in technology is an imperative for today's commerce brands. And how do you see where does the current investment happen, or what is the current scenario when the new age brands are they ready to invest? What about the offline players? How are they placed? What's the mindset? Can you give some throw some light there, Samita?
No, absolutely. I think these brands have already spoken very well on where they want to invest. I think definitely experience is one area where technology investments are happening. I think operations is another area where technology investments are happening. And how do you analyze the data? Right? That's the third area where technology investments are happening, be it an online or an offline world. I think technology is one thing in today's world we can't have enough of it. Right? There is enough technology available, right from open source freeware to products available at various price points. I think there are 4 things that we need to consider when we want to invest in technology. And I just want to take a step back and talk about how do you decide which technology to invest, right? Because for everything that you want to do, there are 10,000 options, right? You want to create an immersive website, there are 10,000 options. You want to collect data, there are 5,000 products. So according to me, there are 4 important characteristics that one should look at technology while investing. The first one is open. Right? How open the technology is to integrate with your existing ecosystem, right? You are buying a technology product. Can it integrate or can it plug in seamlessly with what you already have, right? Or is it sitting in siloed in your organization and just doing what it is supposed to do? The second is about extensibility, right? I have bought a technology product to do job X, but can it also do job Y, right? It is creating experience for my customers. Can it also create experience for my dealers, right? It shouldn't happen that you are buying one product for one function and then another product for another function, and soon you will have an islands of technology in your organization, and you will end up spending a lot of time connecting them together, right? So how extendable it is. The third one is about scalability, right? How technology can scale quickly from 1,000 transactions per minute to 5,000 to 10,000 to 1 lakh or whatever, right? Scalability over a period of time, scalability on demand, right? Can it auto scale to business peaks? Dashera, Diwali, Raksha Bandhan, Ganpati, these are occasions of sales spikes, right? And I need piece of technology to scale only during that time, okay? I don't need technology to scale throughout the year. I don't need technology to be provisioned for throughout the year. So for my business peaks, right, is the technology able to scale without disrupting business, without disrupting the experience, right? And last but not the least, one of the factors that get neglected about technology in its excitement is how secure it is, right? Every day, new piece of technology coming in. There are enough startups who are showing exciting features, but are they secure for an enterprise scale, right? Are they living leaky buckets in your organization, which can lead to a mishap, right? So I think being open, extendable, scalable, and secure, these are the 4 key aspects that needs to be evaluated when it comes to technology. I think trends and what are the investments, my friends have already spoken, so I'll refrain from that.
Thanks, Soumitra. I think these 4 criteria for selecting the technology are extremely insightful and important as well. With this, I would come to the last question, and I would request our panelists to just give the names and to this question. And this question is: what are your top 3 digital commerce priorities for your business? So you can just name them, and I think that should be the last question for our panel today. So what would be the top 3 technological priorities? We can start with Ganesh. You can give 1, 2, or 3, whatever you feel comfortable is.
Sure. The right analytics to understand what consumers want and how consumers behave, so that we can cater to them better. Number 1. Number 2, the right understanding of how to reach our audience and the right access to the right channels and the most profitable way of reaching our customers. Let me put it that way, because that's where most of our money goes. And the third is actually building a great repeat engine with our most loyal customers, and then that is a key to building a brand, as Shishir had mentioned, right? So these 3, I would say, would be the top of mind for me in terms of technology adoption.
Thanks, Ganesh. Siddharth, your top 3 priorities?
I think it would be personalization, innovation, and customer experience. These 3, I would say, are what we are looking at.
Okay. Shakib?
I think the value creation, right? So value creation for our customers and of course for us, right? So that is first. Second, of course, the experience part, right? Because it's so changing so fast. So keeping up with it and being where customers are, that is second. And third is, of course, the internal automations which is required, both on the supply side, both on the operation side, right? So these are the 3 areas which are the.
Shishir, your 3 priorities?
Would be again omni-channel. We'll continue to focus on that. would focus on the app. We have not focused too much on the our own app. So maybe some feature that we can add on the app which makes it downloadable. And third would be personalization.
Amit?
So fundamentally, it's just one thing for us, that how can we create a one window view of the product as well as the customer journey across all the segments, because I think this is the backbone of our business, right? So I think the efforts around in terms of creating that one window view.
One window view. And Soumitra, I would like to ask your top 3 priorities also.
I think I will reiterate what Adobe believes in. We believe in changing the world through digital experiences. I think that remains our priority.
Changing the world to digital experiences. There goes Soumitra. So friends, we have got a lot of questions, and a couple of them are put up here, not all of them. In the interest of time, I would like to, take 1 or 2 of them, and I would request 1 or 2 of you to answer it so that, we can cover these 2-3 questions. First question from the audience goes is, how does one measure engagement across channels? Shakib, to start with you, how does one measure engagement across channels? And what kind of customer would you consider a highly engaged customer?
The one who buys the product.
One who?
Buys the product.
Okay, and how do you measure engagement across channels? Same?
Yeah, I think, first of all, I think as the content and overall, because I think the first touch point for you is to how you present your product and brand to the customer, right? So we have changed completely overall. So if you see our YouTube ads, I think they'll feature Siddharth Malhotra and Fatima Sana Sheikh, right? Doing some goofy stuff with it's more on a storytelling perspective, right? So that is something which is the first layer to customer when it comes to connection, right? And the second layer is, of course, they reach out, they find what is best for them in terms of color, in terms of print, in terms of pattern, in terms of the category what they are looking at, and then just to ensure that the we communicate it like very efficiently, right? The value what I was talking about, right? That is something which is given to the customer, right? So when you fix these 2 things, then of course the engagement often tends to increase, because first the customer is connected with your story, right? So we want to say that we stand for self-expression, right? We want to say that don't take everything too seriously, right? So that communication by our ads and by our video, right? Not just a static image on the face, right? Is something which is our first communication channel. Second, having that consistency in communication on our PDP, on our website, right? In terms of color combination and everything, right? And then giving that value that this is a steel deal, right? So that is something which is the entire value chain which we have created, and which everyone needs to create after understanding the target consumer. And of course, the most engaged one is the one who bought the product. So,
okay, thanks, Shakib, for that. Second question is, what should be the ideal ratio of sales from one's own website to other third-party marketplace websites? So what is the ideal ratio? Anybody can take this. What should be the ideal ratio? Let's say it's a brand who has started.
So I think I'll take this question. The brand who is getting started, I think they need a base. They need a customer base, right? If they don't have a good spend and an infrastructure to spend on, right? So they need an existing base where the product differentiation is something what they are able to communicate and create a community, create a customer base, right? So for example, the likes of all marketplaces would be a better option for any brand to go live, test waters, and then learn from that customer feedback, and then start your D2C brand, because that will help you create your entire funnel very maturely and not do mistakes when it comes to spend, right? So there is X inventory which is available with at all the channels, be it FB, Insta, right, which you bid on. So you have to be very mature when it comes to that entire customer journey, and that learning you have to take it from how the marketplace and the product respond. So yeah.
Yeah. Anybody would like to answer that question apart from Shakib? He has answered it very well. Okay. Yeah,
According
Ganesh.
to me, yeah, I think I have the exact opposite view of what Shakib says. Um, uh, According to me, the whole reason for D2C brands is to identify niches that marketplaces don't occupy and create brands in those niches that cater to specific customer needs that are not there in the mass or the what the marketplaces cater to. So according to me, if you have to build a D2C brand, then you have to have a very strong own channel presence, right? Yes, it comes at a cost. Absolutely, Shakib. I agree that initially you'll have to overinvest, and then as the brand builds is when you will start seeing the fruits of that labor. But I honestly think that it's a individual business strategy call. But according to me, if you're able to do 50% plus from your own website, right, that is a very strong indicator of a brand that is being recognized and adopted by consumers. Is my benchmark, if I would say.
Thanks. We'll come to the last question for this webinar, and that is, value adds like same-day delivery and EMIs are all good for the customer, but what do they cost the business? Anybody can take this?
Yeah, so we've used both same-day delivery and EMIs on our website. Again, there are multiple players out there, right? If cost is your most critical criterion, there are people who offer, a little lower on service levels, but they will adopt to your cost structure. But if you want to provide a premium experience, then obviously it comes at a cost. And the costs are across the board. It could be as the EMI structure could be as low as a regular payment gateway, or it could be super premium like what Sezzle offers, for example. There are multiple players out there and multiple cost structures, but the question really is how premium or how differentiated you want to make that offering to the customer that actually stands out in their mind, right? So then accordingly you can build your entire business model. Right?
Okay. So anybody else want to answer? Okay. So with this, we would like to come to the end of this webinar on powering commerce for brands of all sizes and industries with new age technology. I would just like to go through, what all we have discussed. And these are some of the words that have come out from this almost 1.5 hour discussion that we have had today. The words like, inventory utilization, discoverability, visibility, right TG, trust, scaling, content to commerce, CRM system, all information together, one unified view of the customer, value conscious customer, how to create a digital footprint across the channels, emotional connect. Then we spoke about immersive shopping, NFT, profitability, and tech enabled customization. We spoke about the 4 points of criteria of selecting the technology: open, standable, scalable, security. We spoke about chatbots, NPS scores, warehousing automation, experiences, operations, and data analytics. We spoke about pre-order and post-order returns and exchange automation, analytics-led business. Localization was something that we spoke about. Personalization was there. What are the reducing returns, that is the RTO, dependency on CODs, etc., to go down. Push message technology, managing SCM automated, and then WhatsApp bots and virtual trial rooms and blockchains, etc. Amongst the priorities which are panelists have spoken about, the priorities for their business here today would be analytics, what your customer wants, how he behaves, XYZ. So strong analytics is one. Reach out to the audience in a profitable way, that is a priority. Repeat engine with loyal customer, that's a priority. Personalization, innovation, customer experience is a priority. Value creation for customer, how, what, where, when, and internal automation, omni-channel app, and one window view is the priority for our panels today. So I think with this, I would like to thank Shishir, Amit, Ganesh, Siddharth, Shakib, and Soumitra for joining us today and making this insightful and a wonderful discussion. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you.